So, we're back in Dunkirk now, and I wanted to read a really short bit from Angel of Grasmere. One of the main characters in Angel of Grasmere is this soldier here, and he's been through Dunkirk, and he's living in Grasmere now, and he's having terrible flashbacks, terrible trauma flashbacks to what happened to him when he was at Dunkirk. And it kind of explains his behaviour and the motivation for what he does in the story. So I'm just going to read you a short bit about what this soldier character goes through. So, some days he went from dawn to dusk without being troubled by the terrible flashbacks, but he lived in fear of them coming again, of seeing something and feeling as if he was losing his mind. A sudden sight or sound that would cause a surge of adrenaline as another memory was triggered. Like the morning in late autumn, with a heavy frost, so heavy that the fells were white when he saw a line of soldiers training on the fells. And that was it. He was back in France. He remembered marching in a line with the other soldiers from his unit as they abandoned the French villages and headed toward the coast, to a town they found burning, Dunkirk. There were more lines of soldiers there on the beach, stretching as far as the eye could see, thousands and thousands of men behind them as fires raged through Dunkirk. Buildings had collapsed and a thick black smoke was gushing skyward, probably from a burning oil storage depot. He had stood there in one of the lines with the other men from his battalion, waiting for hours coming to take them off the beach, and over to the huge troop ships that had arrived to take them home. But there were many enemy aeroplanes coming from above here too, spraying the beach with machine gun fire, forcing him and the other men to scramble out of their lines and run for the dunes and waves as a rush of bullets streaked up the sand. The man remembered running for cover, throwing himself on the dunes, hands over his eyes and ears, like he was doing now, like he always did when the memories were triggered, collapsing, cowering, thrashing, twitching and cramping on the side of the fell. Back on the beach, when the planes had screamed away again and he opened his eyes, there had been bodies lying next to him in the dunes and floating in the sea, dead. And now it felt like they were there next to him on the fell, bleeding into the soil, bobbing in the tarn water. So he kept his eyes screwed tight shut until the memories went away. So I researched that a lot. I listened to the voices of lots of men who were here on this beach who survived Dunkirk, and I looked at lots of photographs and I read other accounts and books, and I've watched the film Dunkirk as well, both films called Dunkirk, but actually coming here and reading that is quite, I don't know, I'm writing this story about these terrible things that happened right where we sat. It talks about dunes, and here we are with dunes, and